Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Today's Mishnah is being dedicated dedicated in memory of
Malkienta,
Malkienta
Bas Levi
Bas
Yitzchak,
Levi Yitzchak by Richie Lied by Richie. It's being dedicated in her memory by her son Richard Liederman. Shamash Havan Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay, so we are learning Mishna Nedarim. We are up to Parak Zayin, chapter 7, Mishnah Hey, Mishnah 5. Okay. Hanoidem and Amita. Someone makes a neder from a bed. That means he makes a neder that he's not going to make use of a bed. Mutta bedargish. He is permitted to use the dargish. The dargish is a small bed that was placed next to the regular bed. It was actually a footstool. I mean, I guess it resembled a bed for some reason, but it was the footstool. You want to get into the bed, you had like this smaller bed, this footstool to go up onto to get on top of the bed. So according to this part of the Mishnah, if you make a neder from using a bed, you can still use a dargish. You can still use that. What are you going to use it for exactly? I'm not sure, but you can still use it. Divrei Rabbi Meir, these are the words of Rabbi Meir. According to Rabbi Meir, when you say the word mita, when you say bed, you don't mean to include the dargish. The dargish is not called the meat. Is not called the bed. It's called the dargish. The Chachamim argue and they say dargish b'chlal mita. They say that a dargish is included in the word bed, being that the dargish is there for the purposes of the bed. When you say bed, you could also be referring to the dargish, and therefore, according to the Chachamim, the dargish is forbidden. Next, hanoidim and a dargish. But now let's say the neder that the person makes is he cannot make usage of a dargish, mutter b'mita, then he is allowed to use the bed. Because when you say dargish, even the Chachamim agree, everybody agrees when you say dargish, you don't mean the bed. You would not refer to the bed as a dargish. You could refer to the dargish as mita as bed, but no one would ever refer to a bed as dargish. And therefore, if that's what the neder was, it is only the dargish that's going to be forbidden. Next. Hanoider min ha'ir. A person makes a vow from entering a certain city. Okay? Mutar likainis litchuma shal ir. He's allowed to enter the tchum, we'll call it the border right now, of the city. Vas likainis libura, but he may not enter its extension. Now, what are we referring to here? So I'm going to read to you from the bottom. On Shabbos and Yontif, a person is forbidden to go more than 2,000 amas from his town in any direction. Right? Tchum Shabbos. This area is called the tchum, the boundary. Sometimes the tchum is measured from a point beyond the built-up part of the town. For example, if there is a house within 70 and 2/3 amas, 70 and 2/3 cubits from the town's edge, it is included in the town, and the 2,000 amma tchum is measured from that house. This 70 2/3 amma addition is called the ibur, the extension. Okay? So now, let's get to the terms. You've got the tchum of the city. That means the city has ended, and you have an area outside of the city that you can walk through on Shabbos or on Yontif. Beyond that, you cannot go. The tchum of a city is not considered part of the city. It's the tchum, it's the boundary. The point is it's outside the city, but you've got 2,000 cubits outside of the city. Then there's something called the extension. The extension means that you could have the city, the end of the city that's all built up, it ends, and then there is nothing else there, but within 70 and 2/3 amas, there's one house. If that exists, that's called the extension of the city. And your 2,000 cubits tchum for Shabbos is not measured from the built-up part of the city, but from that house. So that area is called the extension of the city. It's seen as part of the city. And therefore the Mishnah says, if you make a neder from the city, you can enter the tchum of the city, you can enter the 2,000 cubit area around the city, because you won't refer to that as the city. However, you may not enter the extension, because the extension is, as it says, it's an extension. It's an extension of the city. And therefore, it's also called the city, and therefore, it would be included in the person's neder not to enter the city. Aval hanoidim and abayis. However, even though we're talking about extensions here, nonetheless, if you make a neder that you're not going to enter a house, asr min agaf lifnim, you are forbidden from the agaf, which they translate the agaf as you're prohibited from the door frame and inward. Now, what does that mean? The door frame and inward means like this. The line reached by the outer side of the door when the door is closed. Okay, when the door is closed, the door is closed, so the line reached by the outer side of the door when the door is closed. So the door is closed, right? So the outer part, right, ends at a certain point. The outer part of the door ends at a certain point.
Door frame.
So basically, it's a door frame, but it's the top of the door frame where basically the door fills up. From that area on in is still considered the house. So therefore, if you're talking about what's interesting is that what it means is like this. If you are talking about, where did I see this? Hold on one second. Right. He may set foot. Okay. So if we say that the door includes from that, the end of the door frame on the outside and inwards, right? That's called the house. But there's something called a threshold in front of the house. Is that part of the house or not? The Mishnah is saying, no, it's not. It's not. Although you may look at it as the extension of the house, right? As you may have, as we say about the extension of the city, nonetheless, when it comes to the word door, the door includes the area where the door fills up, where the door ends. But beyond that, which would be the threshold, would not be included in the nether. So that's what the Mishnah means when it says, Avo, but hanoidim and abayis, one who makes a vow from a house, asam and agaf lefnim. He is forbidden from the agaf, from the outer part of the doorway, meaning the end of where the outside of the door ends, when it's closed, and inward. That is considered the doorway. That's part of the door. But beyond that, meaning the threshold, would not be forbidden. That's not included in the delis in the door. Although, again, you can argue and say it's an extension of the door. Nonetheless, when it comes to the word door, it's not included, and the threshold would be permitted. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.